Why, hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the Mannerddesert vs SterlingSixx matchup. Today we're going to be spectating SterlingSixx against Mannerddesert, as Mannerddesert did manage to take the win against Sterling in the previous match. So we're going to see how Sterling's doing. Keep in mind Sterling is a console player, whereas Mannerd is a PC player, so there is going to be that. I haven't done too many matches with console players myself, but as I understand it, the micro's a little bit more tough to do, and the console's control is just a little bit more unyieldy. But we're going to give Sterling the benefit of the doubt and mostly be focused on his strategy and decision making in this. One little tip, as it applies for anything from console to PC or anything, you can use these goats just when you have this tiny area back here. You can use a couple goats just to shift click around back here just to see where everything is. Just to get a little bit of extra information, because sometimes there can be a couple hunts back here, maybe a gold mine. But in general, it's fine if you don't really want to, but it's just a little bit of extra you can do while you're waiting for some of your build order to come online. Okay. I'm not as familiar with Freyr as... Oh, I forgot to mention, SterlingSixx is playing Freyr, and Mannerddesert is doing Oranos once more. I'm not as familiar with Freyr's build orders, so I'm not going to comment on that too much. Instead, we're going to focus mostly on the decision-making in this case. Okay. So you did see the most important things over here, which is the gold mines, the settlement. You do see the second settlement here, which is perfect. Okay, you see this right here? You could have saved this time that you had this Berserk running back this way and sent some of your goats back there and got them basically the same information for a lot less time. Just something to think about. A little bit of optimization here and there. Okay. Thus far, nothing too much to comment on, just a little bit of minor optimization here and there. I don't know if Oasis, I don't think Oasis is a huge goat map or herdable map. So we'll have to see how that goes. Could end up with a lot, could end up with a little. Alright, we do have a ranged soldier cost reduction here. Could be useful with... Well, with Freyr, he also gets Draugrs. This could be useful with Draugr as well as the throwing axeman and, of course, ballista. Oh, you see this oracle here. Perfect. With the Berserk, it has too low of DPS in the start to really do much except annoy the oracle. It's the best to ignore that if possible. Alright, getting your temple up to get to that age up. That is good. And for those watching, I know we can see what the Oranos player over here is doing, but we're spectators, and SterlingSixx cannot see that, so we're not going to be commenting on that. So, in any case, getting through, let's see which one you age up with. For those unfamiliar with Freyr, he has an extra bonus of the Gulimbursti, which would be quite useful for keeping his town center safe. Okay, one thing you have to be careful of. There you go. Perfect. Getting that ox cart in to close. Perfect. Alright, just waiting on that last bit of food you need. Okay, going for a few more. You want to be queuing up exploration with this Berserk. You don't want to be sitting down if you can, even if it's just waiting to build. The nice thing about Norse is you can build anything anywhere. So you can easily just send this one as soon as it's done with the temple, just send it out, do a bit more exploring, plop down a few more houses, whatever you need to do. It's better to have it queued up than anything else. The other player did age up through Oceanus. So Mannerddesert is going for that heavy infantry focus with that Oceanus build. You're going up with Uller. I believe this is the one with Draugr. Yes, Draugrs. Alright, now you have Herseer and Berserk. With these two together, you can actually do a lot of damage versus oracles, so now it's time to go oracle hunting. Versus an Atlantean player, his oracles are likely to be in the front during Archaic. Sometimes they'll pull back. Usually they'll leave one or two out. But while you're building up forces and production, you'll want to be moving out to try and identify where those oracles are so you can take them out. Denying an Atlantean player their favor can be a huge detriment to their economy. Alright, Hillfort going down. Asgardian Hillfort. I think it's better to get the Hillfort up as soon as possible. You're investing a lot of resources into production buildings here. Production buildings are important, but getting that Hillfort up quickly is also really important. Because this is one that is really expensive, and I believe the tech to reduce the cost of recasting is only available in the Hillfort. Is it also available in the TC? Oh, it's also available in the TC. Okay, we're good then. I was worried that if this thing got lost, then it might be an issue. Alright, good. Going to a bit of harassment and scouting with the Draugr. Perfect. That was what I was worried about. The one main thing with Oranos Oceanus is that carnivores are very potent at destroying foundations. This is usually done for a town center rush, but in this case, it's being done to take out your Asgardian Hillfort. You need to take this Carnivora out. I don't think the Calandria can heal the Carnivora, so you should be able to take it out before it destroys the Hillfort. Excellent. Now get this Hillfort up. Like this, I think this is a mistake. I think you need to prioritize this Hillfort. With these 4 units, you could easily get this up in a very short amount of time. And he's got Marmilla right there. Oh no. I think your Hillfort might be going down in this case. You could have gotten it up, I think, with a bit more aggressive pushing. You could have gotten it up. You don't want to send Herseer into Marmilla. Marmilla will always win that fight. Marmilla are generalists. Your Herseer without specific upgrades are not going to do as well against this. Throwing Axemen are what you want to use, but you have to be careful with them because if you get too close, the Marmilla will win this fight. And another issue is that he has 3 Caladria on there, so you're not going to win this microfight. At this point, you need to back up. You need to fall back, and the Draugr could make a big difference, but unfortunately lose that Hillfort due to not prioritizing its construction as much as you probably should have. So unfortunately, Mannerddesert is going to be able to get away from there scot-free. If you're going to pursue, try not to do it with a low HP unit, as it's pretty easy once your enemy sees that low HP unit chasing to just turn around and do some damage. Bit of an issue. Okay. Getting Hunt in the front. Be a little cautious over here because you don't know what's going on over there. It's gonna be you have to hope that Mannerddesert doesn't have an Oracle in this area, and good sending that Draugr around just to keep an eye on this side. That's a perfect play.
Yo.
Alright. Now you know that Oceanus is a Marmillo-focused god, but he's also very heavily focused on the Catapeltes with that weightless mace. So raiding cavalry could help, but it could be an issue if he manages to get a mass of Catapeltes up. Alright, you see this Oracle, you can take this out with this Draugr fairly easily if you notice. Try always to keep an eye on the minimap, especially when you're scouting. And it looks like you missed that Oracle, but you do spot this forward sky passage. Did a bit of eco damage, nice. Did a bit of damage to these citizens, that's perfect. Alright, Mannerddesert doesn't seem to be paying attention to these citizens, so you might be able to take one out. This could be huge with this Draugr, because Mannerddesert doesn't seem to be paying attention. Seems to be trying to fight. Probably not the best move by Mannerddesert, but this is just going to be a win for you, as you can take out probably 1 or even 2 citizens. Oh, but it missed Micro. Oh, we heroized that 1 citizen. Alright. Yeah, it's time to pull back. Good with these raiding cavalry. Perfect. Perfectly done, Sterling. This is exactly what you need. Prioritize those citizens down. That's what the raiding cavalry are good at. Get that low HP one. That's 1 hit away. Alright, 2 citizens down. Excellent. Might be able to get a 3rd. Good distraction with those 2. Alright, just try to get them away. Perfect. 2 citizens for 3 raiding cavalry and 1 Draugr. I think that's a pretty good trade. Especially with Oranos being heavily focused on those citizens, and those citizens being very expensive, I think it's a really good trade for you. I think you're in a really good position at this point. You do see that he has Chair Ballista now, and these catapultes. These catapultes will be massive pains for your raiding cavalry, because they can get up to, I think, 5.8 speed with everything combined. Maybe it's just 5.4. It's very fast, and can be quite difficult for raiding cavalry to avoid those. Good scouting, you can see where his units are. Uh-oh, bit of mismicro here, and I think you're going to lose these two raiding cavalry because of that. This is where the importance of shift queuing the positioning of those raiding cavalry can be important, because if you're going to look away, shift queue them around so they get back to safety. In this case, given what Mannerddesert is going for, you really need to tech up at this point, and it looks like you are going for that with Aegir, with that raid as a distraction. Well done, perfect. Alright, got a bit of an attack here. Good, you need to pull those raiding cavalry back. Your raiding cavalry are not built to handle Murmillo. And definitely not with that catapultes coming in behind. Your throwing axemen, however, are well done to put that in there. Alright, Carnivore is being put down. He's putting heavy pressure on this front line. At this point, you do not have the army to face this. Thankfully, it looks like Mannerddesert is just content taking out these front couple of buildings. So you have a chance to build up and prepare. Your age up with Aegir is coming through. That Rock Giant will be crucial, as well as Tempest. Tempest could do a lot of damage to these units. So try to build up behind, get some units out as best you can without losing too many. Let Mannerddesert take these out. Perfect. Mannerdesert's content to do that. Alright, you've aged up. Tempest could do a huge amount here. Assuming you don't lose your entire army. Throwing Axemen cannot defeat Murmillo in a 1v1 at point-blank range. They do not have the damage or the HP, unfortunately. And there goes most of your army at this point. Ugh. This could be problematic. Going for guard watchtowers could be the move to make. Lots of throwing axemen coming through. You have to be careful with those. Alright, they have their heroes coming through. This rock giant, unfortunately, is not going to be long for this world, as unfortunately all these heroes are going to take him out quickly. Yeah, there it goes. All those hero Murmillo and catapults is just too strong for a single rock giant to take out. Okay, you've got your raiding cavalry trying to see if they can find more citizens. You do see this oracle here. This oracle is seeing all of this. You should probably send at least one unit to go get that. It's a tough spot. You are doing the right thing in getting those throwing axemen out, and Godi out, especially. Godi are perfect for those Caladria. You need to be a bit more careful with where you're training from, because when you train from these two, you're essentially throwing units away because they come out and instantly die. You do still have your Tempest. You do want to get that army built up first for it, because this Tempest can do a huge amount of damage and wipe out an army if it's well placed. And you have your Golem Bursty ready if needed. Alright, he's pushing into your main base. This is where guard towers could have been useful.
Yeah.
Looks like Mannerddesert doesn't want to push in just yet, so that's fine. Yeah, try to get these in to the town center. When the town center has units garrisoned, its damage increases significantly. It looks like Mannerddesert is just sort of circling the outside edge. This is good for you. You can sort of keep your units in reserve. It looks like he's going for a town center kill. You're in the perfect position to get his Charo Ballista. His Charo Ballista are good against throwing axemen, but they are not good when they're being hit by throwing axemen. You can easily take these out. Perfect. I would drop Tempest or Golem Bursty. That's also good. You need to prioritize those Charo Ballista. Those Charo Ballista need to be your priority. They will come out quickly. It looks like Mannerddesert doesn't want to risk the fight against the Golem Bursty, even though he almost had your town center down to less than half health. Golem Bursty is probably going to lose speed before it takes out too many units. Oh, nope, Mannerddesert is turning to fight a little bit. You can take out a few more. Perfect. Now the hill 4 coming down. Make sure you get your throwing axemen on there rapidly. You have your Golem Bursty to hold. Get the throwing axemen onto that hill fort. Get it Or I guess that's fine as well, building a second one, but probably better to prioritize the one that is coming up from behind. Because, yeah, his army is still there. His army didn't go away. Alright, Tempest dropping. Let's see if it's enough. It should be, I think, with everything in this area. Oh, the frame drop. Sorry for those watching. The frames are dropping. Tempest has always been a little bit of a frame drop. Alright. The fight isn't quite over, but your Tempest is still going, so it's doing damage. You might be able to get this hill fort up in time. Maybe just barely. Alright, Tempest is gone. Frames are back to normal. Excellent micro on those Goaty to take out those Caladria. Hill fort is up. You need to repair it or it's going to go down quickly. You don't want to lose the hill fort as soon as you build it. You don't have burning oil. It's not going to do anything. Unfortunately, there goes that hill fort, and a lot of those resources you invested in there are gone. In this sort of situation where you're trying to build a hill fort on the front, you need to make sure you have two things. One, burning oil. Boiling oil will basically mean your hill fort can do a ton of damage to all these units trying to kill it from close range. And you need to make sure that you repair it, because if it has those two things, it can do a ton of damage. Good raids in the back onto those citizens. Could probably prioritize it a little bit better, but in this case, Mannerddesert isn't paying much attention either. So you're managing to get a good number down. It's just a bit of a micro thing. I understand it's a little bit harder with the controller, so that's fine. Alright, excellent. Mannerddesert popped out a few units a bit too early. Unfortunately, his Chaos is going to do work on your Throwing Axemen. Those Throwing Axemen are going to go down very quickly. They've got a ton of multiplier against their own units, own type. It looks like Mannerddesert didn't quite have the follow-through, so I think you'll be able to get this to work. You got your raiding cavalry here. These will do huge damage to those Cheruballista. Perfectly done. These Cheruballista are expensive. That's going to be a really big blow to Mannerdd's army value. Good work with this wall of buildings here. You have a couple gaps, which could be an issue, but it should be fine. Taking out those Manners is quite powerful as well. Okay, oh, you did actually see this. Look. On the minimap, you can see this as red. That means that Mannerddesert is gone for a second town center, which means you now have a choice. Either you go for a second town center, or you need to push in and deal a ton of damage while his second town center is going up. Alright, this is one issue with facing Atlanteans, is that their citizens are pretty powerful, so it's risky to race down a whole line with just a couple units. Alright, here we go. I think you have enough throwing axemen here to deal with these anti-infantry units. You have enough. Excellent. And Manner does not pull back his citizens, prioritize those. With that second town center up by now, likely, he's going to be able to get those in very quickly. And that could become a big issue for you. Alright, citizens down. Perfect. Every citizen lost is a way to make sure that you're still in the game. Alright, you see this Caladria. That needs to be the priority for your Goaty.
Yo.
You probably could have stayed and fought there. He only has a couple units left. Like, at this point, you could easily take these two units down, but moving forward to claim some territories is fine as well. One thing that you need to be doing a bit better at in this case is that oracle hunting. You did see an oracle here. There was an oracle over here for the longest time you left alone. So there's something you need to be a little more cognizant of when you're going through. Alrighty then. Alright, now you need to be thinking, what's your next move? You've got your tech upgrades from Heroic. Getting a full army is a good move, so you can move in and try to take out their base. You have to remember that Mannerddesert is also going to be building up his army. At least most likely he's going to be building up his army to defend, so you need to be ready to deal with that. Alright, see, right here, Oracle. You're just leaving these oracles alone, and Mannerddesert is building up a ton of favor because of that. Oracles can be a pain to get past the front line after the early game, so if you're able to hunt them down and take them out, it can be a big benefit. You can deal huge damage to their economy. Taking out the Sky Passage isn't a bad idea either, as it means that Mannerddesert does not have an avenue to instantly teleport its troops over here and flank your units. However, you did manage to find a couple of citizens out in the open. Perfect, you'll be able to get 2 easy kills. Why are you not... Okay, you caught it. I was questioning you there for a second, like why you left the hero citizen alone. Alright, you've got a big army here. In fact, you got max population. At this point, you need to start moving in and using resources. At this point, you cannot build any more units, so your economy is going to be just stacking on top of itself. And you need to start moving in and using these units, or using your resources in some way. Getting hill forts is fine, but you need to do more than that. Alright, you're getting this oracle down. Perfect, that's 1 down. Alright, yes, now it's time to move in. Perfect. You can queue up units to reinforce, but your main thing is moving in to start taking the fight to Manor Desert. This is exactly what you need to do to end the game. You've got a huge army. Make sure you micro those siege onto the town center. Second chaos is dropped for Mannered. That's gonna hurt your army a little bit, but you have the economy in the back to reinforce as you need. This is perfect. Town center will go down thanks to those 5 rams. Excellent. Now these rams just need to beeline straight for the rest of their economy. Don't bother on the citizens, doesn't matter. Focus on those buildings. Yes. At this point, manors are an excellent place to hit. Manor does not yet have watchtowers, so you can ignore the sentry towers for now. Go for the high value targets with those siege. Town centers, manors, production buildings. Those are all huge benefits to take out the town centers with, to use with these portal rams. You have 6 now, these will fall very quickly. Well done, well done. This is perfect. I think this might be game ending for Manor here, because that's a ton of citizens down. Well done. That's the advantage with these portable rams. You can just go through and sort of just ram down all these buildings at once. And since Manor invested so heavily into range units, the pierce armor on these portable rams is going to do huge for helping to ensure that this base will fall. It's quite amusing that the portable rams have 90% pierce armor when they have basically no armor on them. They're basically running around shirtless. It's always amusing. Alright, I think this might be a GG at this point. You're taking out basically Manor's entire base. You took out both of his town centers. I don't know what else he could have left. Might just be... Manor might just not realize it's game over for him yet, but we'll see. Oh yeah, I did remember that. Manor actually and Sterling actually told me in Discord that they kind of just started talking at this point rather than ending the game, so it went on for a little bit longer than it needed to, but in any case, SterlingSixx has won this match. Well done, Sterling. You had pretty good defense there. Just a little bit of mismanagement from where your throwing axemen were coming out from, but overall very well done to fend off that Oranos raid and major attack at that early stage. And well done with those raids along the outside. That was crucial for keeping Mannered back despite his second town center. Getting those citizen kills was essential, and you did a great job. This, however, is key for... This, however, is an indicator of what could have gone wrong if Mannered was able to do a bit better at repelling your raids. He got all these 4 relics because of one thing and one thing only. His oracles. Look, he's got this oracle here. Got this oracle here. He's even managed to sneak citizens into your backline. I think that might have been at the end just to hide, but he's got oracles all over the place that you could have been a lot more proactive at hunting down and killing. And he would have had a lot less information, a lot less favor. That's one thing I can definitely see as an improvement in the future, but overall, very well played by SterlingSixx. Well played by Mannerddesert as well. He almost won that second match as well. But I guess we'll have to go to Game 3, so I hope you guys enjoyed this second match with SterlingSixx being the focus. If you did, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And don't forget to check out Part 3 when it comes out. Probably, well, I'm not sure when they're going to play it, so it might be in a couple days, but make sure to check it out, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!